competing drug cartels have declared an all-out war on each other, with gun battles raging in Tijuana and other Mexican border towns. Has Mexico become an unsafe destination for tourists, or are these just isolated incidents? I'm going to start with you, Richard.
Mostly they're isolated incidents, and most of the Americans I know wouldn't be caught alive in a border town, so they're going to be going a lot farther.
You got the wrong travel agent.
Exactly. They're going to be going to Cabo or
well, I
other
went to
places.
San Diego State, and everybody from San Diego
went
goes
yeah.
down
That
to
wasn't
Tijuana.
really tourism.
We're not. Yes, we're not talking about the people who drop lots of bucks. They're going to the Acapulco, Mazatlan. So and they tend to be isolated incidents. I mean, from a kind of right, moderate point of view, if they're killing each other off, am I going to worry about it? No.
A lot of innocent people in the crossfire.
There are innocent people in the crossfire, and unfortunately, because the Mexican system along the border has been so infiltrated by the drug cartels, and that includes the gendarmes and just about everybody else, because all that money makes it very tough, and then they assassinate people who are actually out and verbalize against the drug traffic there. So it's a tough place. It's kind of like the Wild West along the border, and so if it's not drugs, it's going to be smuggling folks across the border. So it's all money oriented. Take away the money, and then I think the gangs would tend to dry up pretty quickly. And that means that Americans are going to have to, put drugs on a different priority level.
So they're only having, supposedly, these skirmishes along the border, but that's not really true. The drug cartels are everywhere. So they're going to be in other major cities in Mexico, so would you still feel safe traveling?
I'd still feel
else?
safe traveling in Mexico, just I would not be vacationing in Tijuana or Juarez.
Well, nobody's going to
like
vacation in Tijuana, but
it's never a bad idea when there's a current, when the gang warfare has spiked. It's probably a good idea to skip that country and maybe pick a different destination for the
keep
summer.
a 20 in your sock.
Yeah, I
mean, 50 in your sock.
The other thing is that
Fly
the Mexico-U.S. border is such a stunning example of why your system matters. On one side of the border you have a free market system and the rule of law and an economy that therefore is functioning. And on the other side you have a very state-controlled, the largest resource Mexico has is its oil. It's entirely controlled by the state. You have a highly bureaucratic state. Your justice system is, I mean it functions, but it doesn't dispense justice, and everybody understands that about Mexico. And so, literally, you don't even need to build a wall. I mean, you do need to build a wall for other reasons, but you don't need to build a wall to be able to tell where America ends and where Mexico starts. And it's because of these different systems. And it's the people who suffer are the Mexican people, because they don't have the kind of leadership that would, and that's another reason to feel blessed about what our founding fathers did for us. When you have the kind of leadership that comes forward and achieves a successful revolution, and then the people who instituted that revolution essentially lay down their arms. They don't seek to become your dictators, and instead they give you a gift of freedom, constitutional freedom. We've been enjoying that for nearly 250 years, and Mexico doesn't. And it's not, I mean, obviously there are many other countries in the same scenario, but they're on our immediate border, and it's very sad.
I still don't think Americans are going to stop going to Mexico because of what's going on along the border. And for the folks who do, they should just remember that Mexico runs under kind of French, they run under kind of a French legal system whereby you throw everybody in jail and then figure it out later. So it's Napoleonic law in most respects. That's the underpinnings of what their judicial system works under. And it eventually does work out, but if you happen to be a tourist and get caught in something that you just expect that you have the American Embassy's phone number in your shoe.
Yeah, and you don't hand your wallet over to the police to show them your ID either.
No.
There is a lot of corruption in that. But I think if you avoid the border towns, I think you're going to be pretty safe, as long as you can also watch out for college basketball players, too. Make sure you stay away from those folks as well.
Well, you have to hand it to them on that. The justice was swift, and everything got taken care of. They not only didn't get criminally charged, there apparently was a civil compromise where the boys' parents paid
Paid money,
$60,000.
yeah, to the guy they beat up or
just
whatever.
to let it go and let them go, and now it appears that they may not have been involved at all.
Yeah.
But still cheap if
Still bought him a ticket out of jail, though.
right.
$60,000.
That's right about the third world mentality, that people get in these economic positions, and it's sad. I was in Belize recently over spring break, and there's so much poverty there, and it's a very scary place, and I don't think it's getting any better because of the corruption largely. I mean, there were young men on street corners with machetes and little babies playing in the gutters, and it was a very sad situation. Makes us glad for what we have.
Right, on that note,